signs of immaturity.
Self-deprecating.
Somewhat too concerned with himself. This is applicant.
His scientific background and motivation are of the highest nature, as evidenced by the fact that upon escaping from Czechoslovakia, he smuggled out some tissue cultures for his research.
She reminds me of a racehorse in the starting gate, waiting to be released.
Several decades ago, a cartoonist named Jesse Reclaw was rooting through a recycling bin for old magazines when he came across a collection of PhD applications from the biology department of an Ivy League university.
He revealed himself to be a very bright underachiever with sharp elbows, and I wondered whether he was majoring in housekeeping and girls.
His only weakness has been his immaturity, a common failing of students who have lived at home, and his mouth. There are times where he talks too much.
These applications were dated between 1965 and 1975. Many of the documents included a portrait of the applicant, along with a series of comments from their professors and employers.
Inability to accept criticism gracefully.
Certain lack of adventurousness.
He has some of the markings of a dilettante.
After fishing the documents out of the trash, Jesse reworked the files and comments into a series of anonymous headshots and distributed them in a booklet beginning in 1998. Not as physically attractive as some. I picked up my copy at a record store in Missoula, Montana back in the early 2010s when I was 16 or 17 years old. For years, it sat on the dashboard of my 1989 Honda Civic. That's why the cover is so badly sun-bleached and the last few pages are covered in coffee stains.
Hardly the life of the party type.
Lacks a certain amount of poise.
Domestic responsibilities may intervene.
This little booklet had a tremendous effect on me. It's one of only a few possessions that I still have from my teenage years. It's just incredible to me how a few words found in the trash at one point may have had a massive influence on the trajectory of somebody's life.
Her vivacity can occasionally be a little distracting.
Somewhat dependent upon others to help him reach decisions.
A regular theme on my YouTube channel is the idea that almost anything eventually becomes interesting as it begins to age. The passage of time slowly but surely attaches a cultural context to even the most mundane features of life.
Weakness. She is a female and an attractive, modest one, so is bound to marry.
No brooding malaise or bitter rebellion in this man.
None of these professors sat down with the intent to write a paragraph that evokes the late 60s or early 70s, but with hindsight, it's almost incredible how snugly some of these passages fit within our modern memory of the time period.
His faults will be those of his generation. He may not have the staying power of those who used to believe in the system.
He has a tendency toward the long-haired hippie appearance, but his value judgments do not seem to reflect this.
When all these words were originally written, they were intended to tell you something about the applicant. But now, many of these blurbs have evolved into something more. They feel like windows into a time and a place that no longer exists. They're clerical remnants made with no artistic intent or thematic purpose, but nonetheless, they capture the spirit of their generation just as well as any song or book or movie might.
One of the people who was almost lost by virtue of his political involvement in the late 60s.
As a product of a confused society, he has serious complaints about the education he has had, with, however, no constructive criticism to offer.
But, of course, with all that said, as much value as there is in analyzing information at the macro level, and as interesting as it is to view these passages as reflections of the era in which they were written, sometimes you just flip open this book and you find a picture and a caption that still perfectly serves its original purpose. Weaknesses. During his comprehensive examination at the end of his senior year, he took umbrage at a major question which was asked, and instead of answering, fired off a criticism of the question. He was failed on the exam. This may have signified some lack of emotional control. Thank you for watching. Thanks so much to Jesse for giving me permission to make this adaptation. Check out his website where you can purchase your own copy of Applicant for just $4.